The alley behind Jefferson Street Market was the kind of place you walked past quickly, maybe held your breath, and never looked twice at. Old dumpsters lined the cracked pavement, and the scent of rot and wet cardboard lingered like a ghost. But beneath the noise of clanging bottles and distant sirens, there was another presence, silent, watchful, and almost invisible. That's where I first saw him. It was early November in Portland, Oregon. The rains had returned with their usual gray persistence, turning sidewalks slick and the sky a constant shade of steel. I just finished my shift at the bookstore and was cutting through the alley when I caught a flicker of movement near one of the dumpsters. I turned my flashlight app on and saw two glowing eyes staring back at me from the shadows. He was thin, dangerously so. His ribs jutted out like warped fence posts, and patches of his dirty brown coat were missing. Around his neck hung a rusted chain, a remnant of a life he clearly wanted to forget. When I took a step forward, he bolted. All I heard was the echo of claws on pavement and the chain clinking as he vanished into the dark. I didn't sleep well that night. The next day, I brought a Tupperware container with chicken and rice. I placed it near the same dumpster and backed away. From the corner of my eye, I saw him again. He waited until I disappeared behind the building before slinking forward to eat. It became a ritual. Every evening after work, I'd bring food and sit a little closer. For days, he never let me near him. Then, one night, he took a step toward me. He stopped just a few feet away, staring with eyes that held a tired wariness. I didn't move. I just sat there and talked to him about my day, my dog who had passed 2 years ago, and how I wasn't trying to hurt him. He didn't understand the words, but maybe he understood the tone. 2 weeks passed before he let me touch him. When my fingers brushed his fur, he flinched but didn't run. I felt the metal collar up close for the first time. It was digging into his skin. Beneath the dirt and grime, I could see raw patches where the metal had rubbed him raw. It needed to come off, but not here, not without help. That night, I made a decision. I called Dr. Patel, a local vet I'd worked with during a volunteer stint. She agreed to meet me the next morning at the clinic, and I borrowed a crate from the shelter. The next hurdle was getting him inside it. He didn't make it easy. When I approached with the crate and leash, he backed away, growling low, panic in his eyes. I didn't blame him. Whatever humans had done to him before, they'd taught him to fear everything about them. I sat down, talking softly, tossing small pieces of chicken closer and closer to the crate. After nearly an hour, he stepped inside. As I closed the crate door, I saw his whole body tense, and his eyes went wide. He didn't bark. He didn't thrash. He just curled into the corner and trembled. At the clinic, Dr. Patel sedated him gently. She removed the collar, cleaned the infected wounds, and gave him fluids. He was severely dehydrated, malnourished, and anemic. She estimated he was about 3 years old. We scanned him, no microchip. He had no name. I called him Sonny, maybe out of irony at first. He was nothing like Sunshine, silent, withdrawn, and fearful. But I hoped the name would become a promise. The first few days at my apartment were tough. He wouldn't eat unless I left the room. He wouldn't sleep unless the lights were off and I was out of sight. Any sudden movement made him cower or dart to the corner. But I gave him space. I left the door to his crate open, put his food near it, and sat on the couch reading aloud at night. I didn't try to touch him. I didn't force him to interact. It was all on his terms. Then, one morning, I woke up and found him curled up at the foot of my bed. From that point on, something shifted. He started following me from room to room. When I cooked, he'd lie down in the kitchen doorway. When I worked, he'd rest under the desk. And one rainy Saturday, he brought me one of his toys, an old tennis ball I'd tossed near his crate. He dropped it at my feet, sat back, and wagged his tail just once. It was the first time I saw him smile. Months passed. Sonny gained weight. His coat grew thick and glossy. We went on long walks in the park, and he no longer flinched at strangers. He even let kids pet him, sitting patiently as they cooed over his soft ears. He'd gone from a ghost in an alley to a beloved regular at the dog park. But the most remarkable change wasn't physical. One afternoon, while hiking in Forest Park, we encountered a woman frantically calling for her daughter. Sonny stiffened, ears up. Then, without warning, he darted into the woods. I chased after him, heart pounding, calling his name. Moments later, I found him standing beside a little girl who had fallen into a ditch. She was crying, her ankle twisted. Sunny stood protectively beside her, barking until I reached them. That night, as he lay beside me, I looked at him and whispered, "You're not just saved, Sunny. You're a savior." Every year, nearly 3.1 million dogs enter shelters across the U.S. Not all are as lucky as Sunny, but maybe luck isn't the whole story. Maybe it's about patience, about refusing to give up, even when it's hard. It's about seeing value in a creature that others pass by. And most importantly, it's about recognizing that rescue goes both ways. Because I thought I was saving a dog from a cruel world. But in truth, he was saving me from loneliness, from grief, from going numb to the beauty of second chances. Loving an animal isn't about owning them, it's about showing up. Again and again, even when they're broken. Especially when they're broken. Because sometimes, it's in healing them that we heal ourselves. You have a kind heart and a beautiful love for animals. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help spread kindness. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a touching story about rescuing these precious lives. See you in the next episode.